Authorities in Gaza are reporting that Israeli gunfire close to an aid site in the city of Rafah has killed 27 Palestinians. The IDF says its troops fired on a group that posed a threat and refused to retreat when warned to do so. Well, I'm joined by our International Affairs editor, Dominic Waghorn. So, Dominic, what do we know about this incident? And, of course, this isn't the first time this has happened.
Yeah, no, it's the third day when we've had these reports of mass casualties near these aid distribution points being operated by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. The background to this, of course, is that for most of this war, Israel has obligations under international law to guarantee the humanitarian needs of the people of the land they are militarily occupying. But throughout the war, they've been happy to outsource most of that to the UN until recently, when they accused the UN Relief and Works Agency of being infested, riddled with Hamas members. Now, an independent inquiry didn't find anything to back up that claim. Possibly a handful of the many UNRWA staff were linked to Hamas, but not significantly compromised, which had been Israel's claim. They replaced the job of distributing aid with moving it from the UN to this controversial organisation, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, whose head resigned just before it began its job, saying it wasn't up to the task. Now, it's accused of not operating enough points of aid distribution, and the allegation is Israelis are happy with that because it's effectively kettling Palestinians to the south of Gaza. Now, what the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is saying is that this happened a long way from the site of the distribution point where the shooting happened, and they say that they recognise the difficult nature of the situation and advise all civilians to remain in the safe corridor. They say they understand the IDF is investigating whether a number of civilians were injured after moving beyond the designated safe corridor and into a closed military zone. But obviously critics of both this foundation, but also of Israel for outsourcing its obligations to guarantee the humanitarian needs of the people whose land they're occupying, will say that this is yet further evidence that this organisation is not up to the task. And I think it adds to the bigger problem that Israel faces in its ongoing war in Gaza, which is it is now accused of war crimes there by a former Biden administration official, for instance, but also of genocide by senior members of the UN or former officials of the UN, but also Amnesty International and other organisations. Grave allegations that its war has gone on too long, is effectively genocidal, and it's not doing its job in guaranteeing the needs of those people whose land it is occupying. So I think all of this is, whatever the rights and wrong of this current case, and of course we can't go in on the ground to verify the facts there, because Israel's decided, though it is appropriate for civilians to go into Gaza to operate this aid operation, it is not appropriate for some reason for journalists to go in and do their job reporting inside there. We have obviously staff there, but they're under huge pressure. Many of their colleagues have been killed by the Israelis or vilified unfairly by the Israelis. So it's very hard to get a correct and accurate picture of what is going on there. But whatever the rights and wrongs of what happened overnight, clearly this adds to the pressure on Israel to bring its invasion of Gaza to an end.
Dominic, thank you. Well, let's get more on